Self-caring to the music. Today we self-care to the music. I don't care that it's on my lips because my lip is skin too, and it needs to be moisturized. Hey guys, it's Mana, and welcome to Alternative Unicorn, a weekly show where I discuss mental health, spirituality, and airy-fairy new age stuff. For today's episode, we are going to discuss creating a safe space. I mentioned this in the video that talks about anxiety, and I felt that this needed a little bit more elaboration. Okay, so what is a safe space? A safe space, according to me, is somewhere that I feel safe, somewhere that I feel like I can be myself, I can express my thoughts, I can do whatever kind of weird thing that I need to do to kind of get myself back to being grounded. The first thing in creating a safe space is making sure that it's your space. We can get into a little bit later how you create safe times for yourself when you're not in your own space, but this is just about your safe space, like in your home. So you want to make sure you have a designated area that's just filled with your stuff. I did that here because I share a room with my partner, and so I had to clear a designated section that was only filled with my things. Things that I'm really comfortable with, things that remind me of my own energy. They all have my energy in it, my imprint, my vibration. This is really important because other people's stuff can trigger all kinds of things in your brain. It can piss you off. You can just be mad it's in your space at the time that you're trying to get safe and grounded. So make sure it's entirely your space. Go through, segregate an area in your home that has nobody's stuff in it but yours, nobody's energy but yours. Your imprint is on it. The next thing you want to do is clear it of any kind of trigger any trigger items. So when you designate that particular space for yourself, go through and walk along, and if you see anything in there that you think may trigger you, get it out of your space. Put it somewhere else. That doesn't belong in your safe space. So that little coffee mug has a bad word on it that I don't want in my safe space, so put it somewhere else. The first part of this is kind of knowing a little bit what your triggers are, but when you're going through and designating, you're gonna know something resonates with yourself. Look at the item. If you're not sure, better safe than sorry. Get it out of there if you're not certain about it. The things that you want in your safe space are going to feel good to you. So if something doesn't automatically just feel good and remind you of good stuff, get it out of there. Get it out of there. It doesn't need to be in your little corner. It's fine. For me personally, in my safe space, I have some taped up little mantras. I didn't show that on there because, again, mantras are a private thing that I discussed earlier. I've got some taped up mantras in a space, some books that I can read that I kind of relate to when I'm having a really difficult time, prayer books, spiritual books, the things that remind me of my spirituality and my grounding. Have those right on hand for you. I personally like to make sure that I have some soft items, pillows, blankets, make sure I've got some comfy things that make me personally feel really secure. That's just me. It could be an animal, a blanket, a picture, whatever it is to you that makes you feel really secure. Make sure you have those items readily nearby or actually in your safe space, like a meditative corner, whatever it is that kind of works for you. But make sure you clear this area of any kind of objects that can be used to harm yourself. I know this is a little bit dark and we don't like to talk about it, but when we enter into a state of panic or anxiety or deep depression and we go into that little safe hole, you want to protect yourself from yourself when you're in times of despair. So make sure you don't have any kind of items that would entice you to kind of find other ways to alleviate your pain. It is sort of common that self-harm goes really hand in hand with anxiety and depression sometimes. A lot of people suffer from it. When I was younger, I definitely suffered from it. And so I just keep those things out of that area in general. They're not allowed in my safe space. The safe space means where I feel safe and what is literally safe for me. So it's kind of like a twofold spiritual and physical thing, safeness. So make sure you get any kind of lighters, matches, sharp objects, medications, poisons, any of those things. Make sure they're not in your safe space. Let's just not play with fire, as depressing as that sounds. It's really important. Sometimes a safe space isn't an open area. For me, there's a difference between my little space, my safe corner where I say my mantras and I meditate and it makes me feel really good. And then there is a place that I go for specific panic. And I know it sounds really crazy. And I really contemplated not sharing this with you guys, but I need to be in a tight, confined area. When I experience panic, I need to feel completely surrounded. It's just I don't know what that is, but I've heard from a lot of people that's really similar. Either have someone lay on me or hug me or hold me tight. So one of my anxiety areas is like in a closet. And that may or may not work for you. I don't know what your panic attacks feel like, but my closet is very close to my safe space, so that if my meditation and my safeness, my safe practices are not working, I'm gonna just kind of crawl over into my little box in my little hole, hold myself really tightly, and allow those things to happen that need to happen in there. I definitely do recommend having a pillow present in your safe space or your little anxiety box, whatever it is that you want to call it, because for me, when I'm experiencing panic attacks, I need to get stuff out, and sometimes I need to be really loud. This is not everybody's experience, but if you are like me, get that pillow, put your face in it, and yell. As embarrassing as it is, or how silly you might feel about it, sometimes things just need to get out. And I think that panic attacks, personally, on a weird psychological, spiritual level, is your cup overflowing. And so if stuff's trying to get out of you, just like, let it out. Let it out in a pillow. Get in your closet, close the door, put your face in a pillow, and let that stuff out. And then crawl back over to your little safe space. Say your prayers, say your mantras. Remember that who you are, the things that remind you to get grounded, and kind of just don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed to do what you need to do for your anxiety. It's trying to make its way out. It's not something that you want to ignore. Let it have its voice. Let the anxiety kind of do its thing, I guess, as scary as that sounds. So yes, let me run through that again quickly. The safe space in your home. Make sure, 1, it's completely yours. 2, everybody knows about that space, respects the boundaries and limitations. Remove all dangerous, possible harm items away from that, anything that might be a trigger. Get anything negative out of that space. Fill that space up with things that remind you of your spirituality, that ground you, that make you feel good. Have soft, cushiony pillows, make it very comfortable, maybe have some great lighting in it, and things that make you really, really happy, and designate it for you. You deserve your safe space. You deserve to feel happy. You deserve to feel secure in your own home. So yes, I just wanted to give you some of those tools. I hope they're super helpful. There is no right or wrong way to create a safe space. These are things that have just helped me designate an area that helps me get through panic and anxiety, depression. Make it kind of nice, make it pretty, make it a nice place you want to be. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. This is your life. I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. Stay tuned next week. We're going to be talking about some exciting things. I've got like a special series edition that's coming out probably like tomorrow. I'm gonna film that right now. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and liking. Share this channel. Light and love, guys. Mwah.